You and I got out there and we were dancing, and we weren't dancing for the other people. We were dancing for ourselves. We were dancing in that moment, and something magical happened.
Yeah. Welcome back to the Harley and Malarkey Podcast, Old Dog New Tricks.
As we look back at some of our previous podcasts about like what really worked and what really, caught people's attention, the one about like dancing, that one is our number one most viewed.
Yeah.
And
more downloads every single week. And I'm still not quite sure. If you posted that somewhere or know why it keeps getting more and more downloads, let us know.
we appreciate you.
Yeah.
It kind of got me thinking, sometimes we talk about heavier subjects, a little more in depth and about what's going on here. But this is a subject that we can all touch on. And New Year's Eve up at Hawkeye and Huckleberry Lounge, right?
Yeah.
We're up there. We're having a great time. Lots of friends. We got a band playing and stuff like that. And I just wanted, this is just a nice little follow-up to that one. I said, let's go dance. And there wasn't really anybody dancing. There was people like moving, grooving. The band was great. And you and I got out there and we were dancing. And we weren't dancing for the other people. We were dancing for ourselves. We were dancing in that moment. And something magical happened.
Yeah.
As we start dancing, I look around and literally the whole room is dancing. People in booths are swaying together. Other people are dancing. Everybody's just come together. So I'm out here to say this to you guys. You don't have to wait for people to dance. You can be the first ones to dance. You can be the leaders and you can bring joy to an entire room. Sometimes you can dance like nobody's watching. Sometimes you can dance when there isn't any music playing. As long as you get out there and live your life and dance and be happy, that's what I got to say.
I agree.
Podcast over. And just how much joy music brings to your life. And I think maybe that's a good one that we'll kind of segue in here is I grew up in a family where I woke up every morning, the news was on.
Mm-hmm.
There was always the TV was on. When I got home from school, the TV was on. There was always the TV on. News is depressing. News is intense.
It's designed to be that way.
And so, it's taken me a long time. I sometimes still turn on the Today Show. I was just on the news this morning. And I'm glad that you watched the news, but I remember going to my cousin Dee Dee's house once, and she goes, "Oh, we never turn the TV on. We just listen to music." Now, when it's kind of just mellow around the house, I'm just like, let's just play some nice Bob Marley. Let's play some nice music. Because music is one of the things that when I open a restaurant is one of the things I pay the most attention to. It's got to be the right lights. It's got to be great service. It's got to be great food. But the music is one of your major senses. And to really have that music going and really fill your house, your car, your surroundings with great music, I think is the catalyst to getting you to dance.
Yeah, I think maybe, and I have nothing prepared on this topic, but I think that maybe our topic today could be how to invite more joy into your life.
Oh, I love that. I didn't know where I was going, but I'm glad you found someplace to put on the roadmap.
Yeah, because I think, we get caught up, you especially, on like, what's the next thing? What are our goals? And I think at the new year, everybody's like, what are my goals for this year? What am I going to accomplish? But at the end of the day, I think we all want to be happy. I think for the most part, why do we have these goals? Because we think they're going to make us happier. So how do we find happiness in the journey? How do we find joy along the way? How do you bring joy into your life every single day? And I think I do a good job of this. I think, I could let loose a little more. I did, just an aside, I was like, so I started drinking a little bit again, like June of last year, very like off and on, never really made me feel that good. Turns out I wasn't drinking enough. You kind of need to drink, 2 drinks maybe. I don't know.
Weak. As a professional former drinker, I'm like, what are you doing? That's like just the warm up. That's where you just kind of get your body just kind of like, oh, I'm going from a couple different realms. You got to dive in, right?
But
you open the bottle. Why don't you drink the bottle?
Because I've grown up around alcoholics. I've dated alcoholics. There is like this guilt of like any drinking now I feel bad about, especially after taking that year off and knowing like, how good you feel when you don't drink, that I have like this guilt around drinking. And so I was like in the new year, I was like, well, I think I'm just going to stop drinking again and like stop, doing any sort of like fun substances. And like weed and stuff. Don't get your mind all in the gutter, people. But Brian was like, No, he's like, you're already so controlled.
Did I say boring?
You didn't say boring, you said controlled. But it allowed me to, like, I still don't like to drink very often because I like to feel good. If you listen to our last podcast about food and body image, like my whole kind of how I move through this world is like, what's going to make me feel good? And that served me very well. So I don't like to drink a ton because it doesn't always make me feel good. But I do like to let loose and have fun, and I don't have a problem with drinking. And so, occasionally drinking with my girlfriends in the right environment and not being so controlled and allowing myself to have a couple drinks and just be in the moment, it's been one way in tapping into joy a little bit more.
Yeah, I like that. And I always found that if you drink too much and you don't feel really good the next day, the sooner you can get back to the next drink is when you're really going to start feeling good again. And then it's kind of a very interesting pattern. And then you're just like, I should do it again the next day and the next day and the next day.
No, that doesn't work.
No, that's not what we're supposed to be doing.
No, you want your joy quotient to be overall up, a net positive. And if your drinking becomes a net negative because you feel so bad the next day, it doesn't work.
Roller coasters are so fun to ride, how they go up and down and up and down.
No, but I'm not necessarily encouraging other people to drink to find joy in their lives. I think that you can find way more joy without alcohol. I don't even really know why I went into that aside, but I think joy is like allowing yourself freedom, allowing yourself freedom to have fun, to be silly, to do things that don't necessarily fit into a perfectly scheduled day. And I think I work to find moments of joy in every single day. Like I love making, Brian has no idea how I make my tea in the morning, but I make myself a little matcha, add all my concoctions in there, and my morning beverage and reading a good book is how I start my day. And it brings me so much joy every morning. Like I do that because it makes me happy, not necessarily because I'm like, oh, this is good for me. It's going to start my day productive. I think joy is doing things just because they make you feel good, not necessarily because it's adding to your productivity for the day.
So, just a second. Does this get you dancing? Because we started with kind of dancing.
Yeah.
And then we're like...
Well, I think it's like, how do we invite joy into our day? I think I start inviting joy into my day because I look forward to waking up the next morning because I'm excited about what I do first thing in the morning. I drink something I love and I read something that I find really interesting. So I start my day. That's joy to me. So do you start your day with joy? Are you excited to wake up in the morning?
Are you saying I'm supposed to enjoy Mondays?
Yeah.
Tuesday?
You can enjoy a little bit. Like, even if I have a bunch of meetings on Monday, I section off my little morning of joy and peace for myself.
See, no, I just like stumble out of bed, get right into the crud of life. I don't really exercise. I don't really eat a balanced breakfast. I get the kids kind of taken care of, get them off to school, and then I just put myself in the fucking crap, And then it's, I kind of live life like an alcoholic who doesn't drink.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just kind of coming off a high. I wrapped up all my stuff last night. I was able to sit down and relax for a minute. And then the next day, I'm just like, I don't feel very good. I should jump back into my addiction, which is work.
So how could you bring more joy into your words?
I'm living like an alcoholic, but I have the same addictions, but they're just not alcohol.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I like to challenge myself, not enjoying anything that's happening until I get to the goal. And then when I get to the goal, be it, product, new restaurant, TV show, I enjoy it for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Before I jump at the next goal.
Yeah.
Whoa. I have a very addictive personality.
You think?
When do I find time to dance?
Or to allow yourself to have joy? I think I'll ask you a question. Do you think that you deserve to feel joyful every day?
Point blank answer is, of course, yes. I'm very good at the right answer, but do I mean it?
Yeah. Do you actually feel deep down that you deserve joy? Even without earning it? Do you feel you deserve joy without earning it?
No. No. I have to earn everything. My stepfather taught me that from a very young age. If you haven't worked, you don't get to play, And
I think that joy is our birthright. Like let's think about this for a second. People have a lot of different beliefs about why we are here as humans. I believe that we are here as humans because we're all spirits, having a human experience. And we are here to learn lessons that we can't learn if we don't have a physical body. Those lessons are hardships, but those lessons are also like the joy of being human. And if you're not leaning into the joy of being human, you're missing out on some very important human lessons that you're in this little meat suit to learn.
It's a meat suit.
It's a
Oh
meat
my
suit.
God.
We're
See,
spirits in a
I
meat suit.
thought we were just sitting here by the aliens to be like farmed eventually like ants for their nourishment or something else that we give to them. But yours idea in the meat suit's so much better than mine.
Yeah. And so I think joy is our birthright. Coming into this human form, one of the things that we deserve to feel while we're here is joy. And like, why would you have to earn feeling joy?
Because my family taught me that, and they're always right.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So are you saying, like, if I'm having a Monday with a bunch of meetings and stuff like that, I should take some time out for myself and find a little joy, be it making myself that matcha coffee thing you drink, or going for a walk, or reading a book, or laughing with friends? Are you saying I should do this every single day?
Yeah.
I should dance like nobody's looking?
Yeah. And you're a very joyful, happy person. Like you bring a lot of joy to my life. Like we're constantly like kind of joking and playing with each other. But I don't think you don't think that you deserve joy just for yourself.
Just for random Mondays.
Yeah.
I think that leads into something else that I've been kind of noticing a lot and stuff like that, is the younger generation. I won't say it my kids. All of them, their friends, they are scared to say certain things out loud. They're very questionable of their clothes they wear, their hairstyle they have, the e-bike they're on. They're like this because they think that everyone's judging them, that they care what they're doing, what they're saying, and they feel like the whole world's watching. And you've mentioned this before, is you think that the youth feels like the whole world's watching. And one of the greatest gifts I have ever given myself is to realize, once I made an ass of myself on Top Chef and other TV shows, and I quit trying to what I imagined being the coolest me or the perfect me or the me that I thought the world wanted to see. When I gave up on that quest, the freedom of not giving a shit, like no matter what, people are going to like you, dislike you based on their own personal shit or your shit or whatever it is. But when you get the freedom to, again, dance like nobody's looking, or dance like who cares if they're looking?
Yeah.
You know, once you get to that point, I think is when you can actually appreciate and have that joy, right? Like you don't care what you wear. You don't care what you say. You want to be respectful to society as a whole and fit in, but the release of realizing people are more concerned with themselves than they ever will be with you.
Yeah. And I don't think it's necessarily that most people get to a point of truly not caring what other people think, but I think you get to a point of knowing other people might think a certain way and doing it anyways, doing what you want to do anyways, regardless of how people are going to judge you. And I think that's kind of where I've gotten. Like, I don't want to be judged. I don't want people to think negative things about me, but what I care more about is like the callings of my heart and what brings me joy and what I want to do. Like that outweighs my fear of being judged. And I think that's what you have to do. And I think to get to that point, you have to put yourself in these situations where you're afraid of what people will think and do it anyways.
Yeah. And then do it again.
And do it again.
And do it again. And ask yourself, is it bringing me happiness? And certainly making sure it's not harming anybody else or offending anybody. And don't go dancing naked unless you're at home alone. You know,
you don't have to work that hard to not offend anybody else. You know, it's kind of your own business to make sure that you're not overly offended by everything.
Well, don't treat it like a Grateful Dead concert and have on your clothes and dance naked. Like,
no, be respectful of other people. And like, that's it. Be respectful and be kind. But I think people have gotten a little too, trigger happy on being offended.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's put that behind us.
Yeah.
Put it in the rearview mirror.
Yeah. How are you going to start bringing more joy into your mornings?
I know what I need to do. I just need to build the routine, right? So a little bit at the end of last year, I was like, if I can wake up.
Okay, I'm going to pause you here though. I agree with you and I know what you're going to say. And you did say it in the last podcast we just did. But again, that is productivity. That is like doing something for the sake
Well, I need to work before I can be happy.
No, but I think, yes, you need to get up and you need to work out in the morning. You need to get up and you need to feed yourself a good breakfast. But that's not inviting joy into your life. That is making the space for joy. When you take good care of yourself, you make more space in your life for joy. But that's not joy for the sake of joy. What are you going to do in the mornings to bring in joy for the sake of joy?
I need to spend a few moments with just myself and my thoughts, maybe a touch of meditation or just tranquility where I'm not on my computer, I'm not on my phone, I'm not, I guess, working out, but where I can I think what I really need to do is be able to sit with myself quietly, thus relaxing myself and opening myself up for the ability to have joy.
Yeah.
Because I have a very hard time
Well, I think
sitting
hearing
with myself.
you try and describe what you should do to bring yourself joy in the morning, you don't actually know.
I think no.
And so I think you probably
Totally.
do need to sit there and be quiet so that you
But
can
if we just had morning sex, I would be joyous.
I'm down for that. You just get out of bed too fast. I'm like, I'm there.
But you're snoring.
No, I'm not. Yeah, I'm always awake. You're just too excited to go work.
I do love that work. You're telling me I'm giving up a good time to go work?
Yeah, you are.
Shut up.
I mean, I think one simple thing I can think of, which is how we started off the podcast, is that you can get up and, you can make your coffee and not rush to accomplish anything, especially when you don't have your kids. And music brings you joy. You could put on a little music. You could kind of dance around while you drink your coffee. You could just go sit and watch the waves and listen to music for a little bit.
Wow. Seems so simple.
It's so simple. And just giving yourself that space to just
when I play music,
enjoy
most of the time, she like immediately learns. That's typically when I put on my music, it means it's sexy time. She'll be like, uh-oh, here comes the sexy time. But she won't be saying uh-oh because she loves it. She'll be like saying, sexy time.
But do you understand what I'm saying here?
Yes, I need to shift down. On Mondays, I come out of the gates like a racehorse, and I just I want to get everything accomplished and this and this and this. And then I'm just like grinding, and all of a sudden I realize it's Thursday. And I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? I got to get everything wrapped up before Friday at 5:00. And I'm just like, and then I get a Friday, and I'm like, let's try to enjoy a couple of days of the weekend. And then we got this and this and this. I need to slow down.
Yeah. I wonder if we could go back, like how many times in a podcast episode you've said that.
And never happens.
Yeah. But I do think like giving yourself, let's say your joy practice in the morning is turning on music that you love, taking your cup of coffee, sitting out on the porch and just looking at the beauty of the ocean and the waves and enjoying your view, enjoying this view that you're not going to have for that much longer because we're moving. I think that would be such a nice little joy practice for you. And I think because you're so driven towards productivity, the whole point of joy is that it's not something that's productive. It's something that you enjoy. But just to give you the value of it, I think when you slow down and you're able to sit there and enjoy your coffee and sit there and look at the ocean, it helps you become more in touch with yourself. And it helps you become more in touch with like what makes you feel good. And I think when you get to that place, you don't end up with all these small arrows. You don't end up saying yes to a million projects that aren't necessarily where you want to go.
Explain the arrows more. The arrows have been fun.
I forget which episode it was. I think it was about enjoying the journey. And I brought up this book, Essentialism by Greg McKeown, that I've read. And it's about the concept of, we all try, especially in this modern world, to do way too many things. And when you do way too many things, there's a diagram in the book and you have all these short arrows. You're like this circle and there's a million little short arrows. You look like a tiny little, a sun with tiny little rays all around you. Whereas if you really want to be effective and you want to go far in life, you choose, 2 or 3 big arrows and you launch them really, really far. And we talked about how Brian had a lot of short arrows last year. The way that he starts his day, just going into rapid fire, like that lends itself to a life full of short arrows. If you're not taking that time to feel, what do I enjoy? What do I like? You're just boom, 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 shooting all the arrows. So I do think that allowing yourself to have moments of joy will actually pay off in how you spend your energy.
Yes.
And like, we just deserve to have joy and be happy. And I think I really do lean into joy, and it's helped me get a lot of clarity in my life because I'm like, well, this is a privileged thing to say because I do have choice in my career and I have choice in all these things that I do, which so many people do not. So coming from a place of privilege, but because I allow myself to experience joy, it gives me a lot of clarity on how I want to spend my time, what I want to do with my career, what I want to do with my passions, how much energy I want to give certain place, because I'm very connected to what makes me feel good. And I think that we can all live lives, that make us feel good rather than make us feel depleted where we're earning everything. Like, I don't think that life has to be that way. I think that you can still accomplish things and do amazing things in life, and you can enjoy most of it. There is always, like, we all have to do things that we don't want to do. Like, that's just part of life. But I think in general, like, life can be so much more joyful than we allow it to be.
Let's all find a little bit more joy.
And I think the ways that I try to invite joy into my everyday is I love walking outside. Luckily, we live in Southern California. It's a beautiful place. Our hearts go out to you if you live in Los Angeles, California. I just am having a hard time wrapping my head around that. But, and it's back to our joy episode, is we live in this beautiful place and I like to be outside as often as possible. And I like to be away from the computer and my cell phone, and I like to go on walks, and I do listen to podcasts or listen to music on my walks. But I listen to like what brings me joy. I'm not out there listening to a podcast. I'm not like looking like what podcast is going to make me smarter, what podcast is going to, do this for me. I think about like, what podcast do I want to listen to right now? Or do I want to listen to music? And I think following my joy in life has also helped me discover like a lot of passions. And I think, I have friends that are like, it's cool that you're passionate about all these things. Like I'm like passionate about like, drinking wine with my friends, and like, I like to make money at work, but I'm like, I've done my Reiki training. I've done my yoga training. I've done my nutrition training. I love reading books. And I think it's because I follow my joy. I'm like, ooh, this is really interesting to me. And I go down a rabbit hole with that. And then I have this new passion and this new thing that adds so much color to my life. And it's not because I'm like, oh, I must be smarter. I must learn more about this subject. It's like, no, I'm following my curiosity and I'm following my joy, and I'm allowing that to help my life like blossom into something bigger and more robust.
Yes.
If you're having a really hard day and you have like all these things to check off your to-do list, I don't know, as a woman, like you can be like, I'm going to go get my nails done and paint them a fun color because that's going to bring me joy. I'm going to rearrange my schedule and go for a walk and call a friend, or I'm going to do something to invite joy into my day when it's feeling too monotonous and too heavy.
Yes. And I will take on a new project and try to start a new business. And that brings me so much joy. I'm trying to spend more time with my children. Go fishing with Miles, go to volleyball with Sailor, go take videos of hunter surfing. Those things bring me joy. They bring me a lot of happiness. My father never threw a ball at me. Probably threw something at me, but it wasn't for me to catch it.
Yeah.
Old dog, new tricks.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's good as much as we can teach our children to do things that bring them joy. And especially like with our phones nowadays, like I think Miles is really good at that. Miles has a bunch of hobbies. He loves to go fishing. He loves to like, I don't know, just do creative stuff, like build a fort in a random like bush.
I mean, homeless people's furniture is brilliant.
But I think like teaching our kids like to enjoy themselves for the sake of enjoyment is also a good lesson. Because I think like when you think of yourself, like, do you want your kids to feel like you don't? I know for a fact when your kids ask like, what should I do with my life, Dad? You're like, do something that you love. Yeah.
That's the only thing that matters, because if you love what you do, you're already rich, even if it's not financial richness.
And in your defense, you love what you do. Like, I think a lot of people are in careers that they hate and are miserable. Like, you automatically have a lot of joy in your life because you love what you do. You don't really create opportunities for yourself to have joy and rest and relaxation because you don't necessarily think you deserve it. But you have so much joy in your life because you've chosen to do something that you love to do.
I do love my life.
Yeah.
But I could use a little bit more joy, a little bit more calm,
a little more dancing, a little more music,
a little bit more music in my life.
Follow us on iTunes or Spotify or YouTube. Leave us a rating and review. We love it. Send us any questions.
Yeah, I dare you to.